I think the stars above, I know that we're gonna make it.
Little take over God, we gon' make it. Show the world that I shine in our greatness. Keep it real, never gon' fake this. Till we make it, till we make it. Taking off, flying high like a spaceship. Take control, take a shot, what you waiting for? Keep it real, never gon' fake this. Till we make it, till we make it. Second verse, I'm telling you I'm ready to go, letting you know.
Alright, check this out, guys. I got a bit of a problem with the truck that we got to get into, or that I got to get into. She's got a bit of a leak underneath her. I got my key in my pocket. Yep. So I know what's causing it. I went yesterday and washed it off. I can't let it get too hot, but I'm gonna shoot a video right now and show you guys what I got going on. It's been leaking for a minute, and I gotta get this shit taken care of. Like we were trying to get the front end. I just got to get out of the wind. It is really cold right now. Just gotta make sure we ain't gonna hit the roof. Right there's good enough. At least that'll get me in out of the cold. And I can see what the hell's going on with this thing. All right, I'm gonna get you guys set up on a tripod so I can show you what's going on. All right, got you guys on the tripod here. Oh, let me get a rag. When we open this hood, it's gonna touch the top of the garage door there. So I put a rag up there. Kind of like so. So it doesn't scratch it. And I knew this was going to be an issue. I kind of knew this was going to be an issue when I put this together. I was a little worried about it just because of the setup. But let me see here. This fitting right here, the only thing that's holding it in there is this bracket and an O-ring. And that's where it's leaking from, right on the bottom there. So I got to pull this all apart and see what's going on with this fitting. I don't know if it cracked or if the O-rings rolled off of it or what's going on, but it only leaks when it's cold. Once the truck warms up, it seals itself up, and we don't have any other issues. It doesn't leak anymore. But once you fire it up when it's cold, it'll leak for a little bit, and then once it gets warm, it stops leaking. I'll drive all the way into work, you know, and park the truck and look underneath it. I got no leaks, but then once it sits there and cools down, it'll start leaking again. You can see it, and it'll have a small puddle underneath it. So I want to rectify that before the O-ring in there actually blows out, or before I have an issue or something. So that's my project for today. I'm gonna get it all pulled apart and show you guys what I got going on. Maybe I can get you set up here so you can kind of see me pull it apart. There's quite a bit that's got to come apart on it, so I may pull this thing out of my way so I can see a little bit better as well. But I don't know, that's what I got, so give me a second. Let me get my tools out and get set up to pull this thing apart. Alright guys, I got all this stuff out of the way. I got the air box and the air cleaner and all that stuff, so it kind of opens it up here a little bit better so you can see what's going on. So this is your coolant line here coming up and branching off. So I gotta pull all this stuff back apart, and I believe this bracket's gonna have to come back off too. I don't I bolted it at. So it's bolted there, and I think it's bolted in the back as well back there. So we're gonna have to pull that off in order to get that fitting out, because otherwise it's not gonna slide out. And I'm hoping I can just replace the O-ring on it. I did order a whole new kit. It's just taken forever to get here. I think the delivery on it showing like January 16th or something crazy like that. So I'm going to replace all this stuff with better stuff. This bracket, that fitting, all that stuff's going to get replaced, but I got to do something to get this to stop leaking between now and then, because I don't want to have any issues. So I'm going to pull that stuff apart, and then I'll show you guys what I got. This is going to take a minute though. All right, guys, let me see if I can do this one-handed. So here's our culprit right here. I got this all pulled apart. So the only thing that holds that piece in there is this bracket. Let's see if I can lift it up. Kind of hard to do it one hand. One hand leaning. Let me see if I can just slide it back. There we go. I kind of wipe this thing down. So there's our culprit right there. Come on, focus. Looks like it was rubbing a little bit there. Huh. Well, I can tell you that O-ring was not that flat when I put it in there. Alright, that's all that thing is. And it was leaking from the bottom side of this, so I'm going to have to get a new O-ring for that until I get the pieces in to fix this thing. Huh. And I'm going to figure out a way that I can brace this bracket a little bit better too. I don't know. That's the culprit though, guys. I gotta make a run to the store, because I don't think I have any O-rings that small here. Yep, that's the culprit. See if I can wipe this thing off a little bit. Yeah, the original setup on the truck, same type of fitting that popped in there, but I don't know, it had two other pieces that popped in and kind of locked it into place. This thing, that bracket is the only thing that holds it into place, so I don't know if maybe from vibrations or something that bracket moved a little bit. I don't see how it would, but I mean, really there's no other way for this thing to leak. It's not damaged at all. I thought maybe it would be cracked, but yeah, it's not damaged at all. I'm not seeing any cracks in it. Huh. Yeah, it's got to be that O-ring, because I'm not seeing any damage on the other side either. From what I can see of it, I'll have to get my mirror up in there. But yeah, kind of a goofy design if you ask me, especially for coolant. But yeah, that's where we were leaking from. Originally, I didn't even realize it. Like, I thought, you know, it hasn't been that cold that long. I thought I was running the AC a little bit. I thought it was just condensation from, you know, from the AC running that was causing a bit of a puddle, because it did that all summer long. And I happened to leave in the truck and back it out. Went to the store and I came back and I didn't park it in the same spot. So as I was walking by, I noticed that the puddle on the ground was the same color as a coolant. I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. So yeah, that's how I found the leak. Like I said, after it warms up, it doesn't leak a drop. So I think that O-ring's just wore out, maybe from vibrating or something. I have no idea, but it is pretty flat compared to what it was when I put it in there. So I'm gonna go find some different styles of O-rings, find one that fits in there really tight, and put this thing back together, and hopefully that'll hold it until I get the new pieces in. All right, off to the store I go. All right, guys, check this out. This is what I come up with. So I kind of augered this freaking bracket out a little bit. So there's a overpressure sensor, or a back pressure sensor, I think is what it is, that sits in here. And originally, it comes out of the exhaust, and it was kind of sitting up like in this orientation here in front of it. Made it really tight in there. So I've got it set up now to where it's going to sit backwards like this, and I can bolt it right through this bracket. It's kind of hard to get your hand in there and drill and do what you need to do, so I kind of marked it as good as I could and augered it out. And I went and got an assortment of O-rings here. So we're going to see what fits this thing, and get this shoved back in the hole, get the bracket back on it, and we'll be back in business. And hopefully this will stop the leak, or the seep, whatever, enough that I'll be able to roll with it like this until my other parts come in. I got quite a bit pulled apart on the truck, as you can see here. Let me show you. So that back pressure sensor is this right here. Kind of hard to see. Right there. There it is. So you see I got it laying back now. Before it was standing right up, and it's right up in here. And there's a lot of shit happening on this side of the engine over here. So I don't know if that was letting that plate slide back. I really don't like how that plate mounts over here. I got no other choice at this point. I got to get my truck back together because I got to drive it. But I may make my own bracket and redo this. And I say that because the bracket mounts back here, so that holds the back of it tight, and then this bolts to the bracket. So when the truck's running, this kind of, vibrates a little bit. And I don't know if that was part of the problem that caused it to start leaking or not, but I got stuff over here I can pick up off the side of the engine. There's holes there already, and maybe get a standoff or something, drill another hole in that bracket, and mount that bracket down tight. So yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do, but for now I'm gonna get this thing put back together, and knowing that it's gonna have to come apart again when I get the other stuff in, I'll see what I can design for that bracket while I'm waiting on the parts. And then when I pull it apart again, I'll go down through there. Yeah, that thing is full. I filled it up the other day, so it was still leaking. All right, I'm gonna try to get this thing put back together. Once I get the bracket set back in there and get the O-ring on it, I'll show you guys what I got. But we're in the home stretch now. It'd be easy to put it back together. Pulling all this stuff out of there just makes it easier. Gives you more room to get in there with your arms. It can be a pain in the butt. It could be kind of a pain in the butt standing up on a ladder trying to do that when you ain't got no room in there. So, all right, guys, let me figure out which one of these O-rings fit, and then get this thing all mounted, and we'll go from there. I gotta get this thing put back together though. All right, guys, she's all back together, and bending that other sensor over right back there. See the green plug on it is worked out great. Left me a ton of room in here now. This is actually put back together better than it was the first time. It's a hell of a lot tighter. I got it hooked up a lot better, and we shouldn't have any problems with leaks. So now all that's left is to put all the air boxes and elbows and whatnot back together on it, and she'll be good to go. So I'm gonna start working on that, and maybe I'll shoot a a time lapse here while I'm doing that. Got a couple wires to zip tie out of the way. It really cleaned it up in there though. Me fabbing that bracket and moving that sensor around and doing all that gave me a lot more room, that's for sure. That's what I want to see. That's this thing. Yeah, it must have been caught up because I had it spun around the other way. I'm not sure. Dry underneath there now. That's what we want. That's what we want. All right. Gonna let her run for a little bit. Make sure she don't start leaking. The problem before, oh, had to jump down. The problem before, it would only leak when it was cold. So I really didn't see any leaks at all until it got cold outside. And then I noticed when I remote started the truck, it would have a puddle underneath it. I drive it all the way to work, park it, get underneath it and look around, and I wouldn't see anything. All the coolant from driving on the freeway would already be blown back. So I knew it was leaking something, and it took me a minute to find it. Like I said, it was only happening when it was cold. And I think it's because of that O-ring I replaced on that fitting. Because that thing was like flattened out, and the new O-ring I put in there, that fitting's like solid now. It's really tight. So hopefully that did the trick. I'm gonna let it run here for a little bit and then we'll check back in on it. Make sure it ain't leaking. Yeah, I hate coolant leaks. That's part of the EGR delete. Alright, let's let this thing run and warm up for a little bit. Make sure it stays solid. Alright guys, let's see what we got here. I'll do my flashlight again. I swear I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached. She's been running for about 5 minutes now. Oh, there it is. I wiped it off. Oh yeah, there we go. Dim that down a little bit. No more leaks. That's what we want to see. Very good, very good. This is just a temporary fix. I got all new components coming in. I'm going to change them all when they get here. So I guess that'll wrap that job up. I kind of been wanting to do a video on all the stuff that's installed on the truck and how it's been doing over the past 6 months or so. And I guess that's the first one. That's part of the EGR kit that I got for it. And it lasted about 6 months, and then that fitting started to leak. It was like that O-ring was smashed down. So I put better quality stuff. I got another kit coming, a better kit. So I'm going to change that out. But as far as the rest of the stuff goes, it's spot on. I'm going to do a video covering like the amp steps, all the FCKLIGHTBARS stuff that I got installed on it. The tuning is a big one. But so far so good. I haven't had any issues with anything, knock on wood. Just that little fitting up there. And it wasn't even a huge leak. It was a small one. Like I said, it was only leaking when it got cold. So I'm guessing that O-ring wasn't holding its shape. It looked like it was pretty smashed. It was kind of hard to get it in there when I installed it. And as soon as the truck heated up, that O-ring expanded a little bit and the leak went away. It didn't leak at all. But just sitting there, starting it when it was cold. Here, I'll show you. That's about what you would see under the truck. So hopefully all that stuff leaks away now. I'm gonna have to spray off the underneath of the truck. Make sure I got all the old coolant away. That way if it springs a leak again, I'll be able to see it. Yeah, we're looking good now. All right, we're gonna call that one done. We're gonna call that one done. Cool, peace out.
I think the stars above, I know that we're gonna make it.
Little take over God, we gon' make it. Show the world that I shine in our greatness. Keep it real, never gon' fake this. Till we make it, till we make it. Taking off, flying high like a spaceship. Take control, take a shot, what you waiting for? Keep it real, never gon' fake this. Till we make it, till we make it. Second verse, I'm telling you I'm ready to go, letting you know.